Hello guys, I'm Melon VR and welcome to my idea for a new Yeeps update. Not just one idea, not just a single item, a whole update. What's the update called? Well, I'm gonna call it the Yeeps Military updates because it's basically a spiritual successor for the War and Battlecrafts updates, meaning that it focuses on PvP as well as it kind of having like a military theme. We'll talk about this guy later, but we'll just throw him across. We'll just throw him. And now we have basic planes, and so planes are used to fly, and it kind of looks like you're in the plane by other players. And tanks, unlike the planes which are fast, these are slow, but they're ground-based, and use less stuffing. Wondering, the basic plane just flies. The basic tank shoots a pellet. The jet plane can fly very fast. The self-destruct tank self-destructs, armor-piercing tank, as well as the fighter plane, it shoots sniper bullets, blast tank, and bomber plane shoots explosives, flare tank and flare plane, those shoot flares, gunner plane and blurge tank, those shoot pellets, then the smite plane and smite tank shoot, and what do they shoot? Balls of electricity. Show you the favorite item for this update, the jet plane. The jet plane is actually, if you're wondering, all these planes would have different designs, but since I'm lazy and broke, I decided these all just have the same design. We have the smite items. The smite items, like, see how strong the smite plane is. And look, lightning ball, but it does take 15 seconds to recharge. And now we got a couple of items. First is the propeller hat. Propeller hat lets you fly. Where can you find the propeller hat? The military hat. Wrist gun? What does wrist gun do? It's a pellet gun that attaches to your wrists. It's 800 buck coins, and so it's as much as a regular pellet gun. The only difference is that the pellet gun deals more knockback. Then we have dash gloves. These are good for, like, if you're running either A, running away, or B, there's air targets. So if you're running away, you can use a dash, but you might just be cooked if they also have dash gloves, or if you go in the wrong direction. Impulse missile, they're like regular missiles, but they don't deal any damage, and they will exceed knockback. The walkie-talkie, which you could use to hear other players. And then we have the pellet rifle. The pellet rifle shoots 4 pellets that deal 50% more damage than their pellet gun counterparts over 250 stuffing. For wondering, that's 1,500 damage. And yes, you can double shot it right now, but the actual version wouldn't double shot. Now we got the Pello bricks. Pello bricks are like regular bricks, but what happens is that if you place them down, you'll be unable to pick them back up, even though you can right now. And the 2x2 would have 10 health, and the 4x4 would have 20. So if we want, so in some situations, 2x2s are going to be stronger than a single 4x4. Others maybe not so much. Now we have this guy, the espionage minion. Right now he's attacking, not espionaging, attacking. They would spy, and while it's activated, then you look through the VR headsets. But if you don't have them, don't worry, you can still use its ability to specific in its radius visible. Then we have some camo gear. Camo gear, you wear it, you become invisible. Now we have 2 of mine. It's the wrist dagger. The wrist dagger, you tap it and you can use it to attack. It's not going to be as long probably like the gear because it's dagger, and you'd also be able to backstab other players. And then finally, we got the probably Yeeps' new most overpowered item, the railgun. The railgun, and I tried to make it as balanced as possible for item one-shot item. So if you're wondering, it deals 7,500 damage. Yes, 7,500 damage. And when activated, you can actually but it uses 1,000 stuffing. So it's gonna be kind of bad. So it's gonna be kind of bad if you're low on stuffing, but good if you have plenty enough. So let me just attack real quick and waste 1,000 stuffing. That's bad. Also, I can't. Also, let's see if I can railgun this guy. And now here is these things. these go to my world PVs and Yeeps, which is the most accurate Plants vs. Zombies map in Yeeps. But if you want the actual items, these are the tank and plane in passageways. You just go in them and they kind of look like the rocket passageway before tank and plane. Because most of the items up there are tanks and planes, as well as conveyor belts. Conveyor belts are basically like powered versions of the water. I'd also change how water works, and this would also apply to conveyor belts. You no longer just stand if you put your hands on water. You'd actually move with it, no matter if your hands is on the water or not. And over here we have these as 2x damage and these are 0.5x damage. So yes, you now be able to add superpowers to turrets, explosives, and more. And before I miss it, here's pillow signs. Just place it down and you can write on it. You'd be able to add any power with the exception of the orbital strike and thrusters, the double jump and dash, because as the latter three are all movement based and the orbital strike's just too powerful. Now, what are these? These are blank items. There's blank minions, which, if you're wondering what gets activated with those just attack automatically. These, you can use though. They're basically the blank gun, but if you release them, it activates the ability instead. Same thing with this. It's drawstring, and similar to the saw blade launcher, it activates your ability when you draw the string. Then we have the blank version of the explosive landmine and sea mine, which if you place does nothing, but you can actually choose which explosive ability it does, or using the new explosive superpowers, as well as the place projectile ones. It'll shoot 6 of those projectiles. This is what the tech web would look like in design. So you start with propeller hat. These are the blank items. These, if you're wondering what these are, those are the blocks. These are the planes. These are some items. These are the tanks. And these are also some more items. And now, and if you're wondering, these are the ideas for the maps. This boot camp, how it would work is that you just platform on all of these, and boot camp would kind of be like a run or only up map, but officially made by Yeeps, but instead of being and have a more like race focused. You beat the boot camp map, you win 500 buck coins for free. As a one-time gift. The second one is known battleground. The turrets represent people. What happens is that you see the glowing versions. Well, the glowing versions are generals. If one of the generals, dies, your team loses. So if red general dies, they lose. If cyan general dies, they lose. There'll also be a new mechanic known as alliances. How it works that you could 2 paintbrushes, place it in those teams, and if one of those teams won, that would mean the other team wins as well. Now you see that this is effective. What this would do is that it would add tokens or subtract tokens. With these, I'd also probably add with these, this is a token portal, which is it's kind of like a portal plus token barrier, but it's built in. Same thing with the VIP portal, as well as the variable portal, which the variable would have to either be more or less. But it only work, if you're wondering, it only work with a couple types of variables. Variable types, we actually have more variable types. These are, if you're wondering what the types are, the first type is flow, which aka decimals. If you're wondering decimals, you'd be able to, like 5.5. Then we have string types, which is like text, which is hello world. Now we have boolean, which is true or false, which in this case is true. And then we finally have something that might be complicated, objects. Objects are kind of like variables, but that contain smaller variables. Like if you're wondering to make an object in Python, this is how you do it, and to make an object in JavaScript, this is how you do it. Wondering to make a float variable, just set it to just set it to a number that's a decimal, to set it to string. You can do like a piece of text and do a text in quotes. If you want to do boolean, you do uppercase. You do true, like spelled like this, or false spelled like that. But in object, you do obj. Then what you do is that you do obj. Then you do colon. And in parentheses, you do x. The name of the value, then the actual value. For example, x is 5, y is hello world, and z is 6.7, right, kids? So, for example, in this case, $red sir is the same as hello world sir, because this is hello world and this is red. But if you choose something like light olive, the first word is light, that's gonna be lowercase, and every other word after that, you're not gonna do it any spaces and any uppercase. For example, and do like green.y, ma'am, is the same as hello ma'am, because y is hello, and then so green, and you do .y to represent one of the parts of an object. For VIP, you'd actually now be able to change the price of VIP. Right now it's capped for every world at 1,000, but you're now able to change the VIP price from either 500 to 750 or 1,000. And so you could make a change. For example, you could make it that you get less money per purchase. You get less money per purchase. But you have a chance of getting more purchases. And if you're wondering, you have 50 as well as the donation fee, half VIP. Again, the updates, the variety of updates, the military update, and what if you want to try all of these items for yourself? Introducing my new community world. What is it called? Yeep Military Expo. It's military. If you're wondering, in Yeep Military, you get to experience all of these for yourself. Also, what is the bundle gonna be like? The bundle is gonna be the pilot bundle. Well, it's not the same as like the steampunk bundle. It looks like,